you very much for having me. It's great to be here. And yeah, thanks to the team at PHPConnect 2025 for letting me join in and having me speak. We're already a little bit late and delayed, so I'm going to get going. We'll jump straight in. So maybe whoever's sharing the slides can stick my slides up on the screen, and I'll hopefully see that in a moment. So I can just confirm that everything's working. So what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about how you can build native applications with PHP. And we're going to look at how we do that. We're going to look at what native PHP is. We'll talk about that in a second. And what it can do. And see just how easy it is to use this incredible technology that we've built. First of all, a little bit about me. I'm Simon. I'm one of the creators of native PHP, and I've been working really hard on it for a few years now. And earlier this year, we released the very first version of native PHP for mobile, which is incredible. I'm not alone in doing that. I have Shane, who's my co-founder. He helped build native PHP for Android. So we've got iOS and Android, and a load of other awesome tools that we're building for native PHP. Now, earlier, Kirian talked about curiosity, and we're talking about being builders, and we want to build stuff. That's why we built native PHP. We want to build apps. We want to build native apps for our own phones, for our friends' phones, for our family, for our customers, our users. And we want to be able to give you that power to be builders too. And that's why we've made native PHP do all of these things. Some of them aren't ready yet. Some of them are still coming. But you can see, hopefully you can see, that there's quite a few things that we're already capable of doing. And there's more to come. And we're going to look at some of these today. So, before we get into any of the technical aspects of how native PHP works and looking at how we can use it, let's see how other people are using it. So we've had loads and loads and loads of developers come and start using native PHP. They've been building apps and they've been absolutely loving using this technology to do so. They think it's easy. They think it's quick, and they love telling us that that's what they're experiencing. This is from Eve, who has built an app that he's wanted to build for years. He's tried all of the different technologies that are available to build mobile apps. But finally, with native PHP, he was able to build his Popcorn Movies app, which is a really nice app. I've used it. I like it. You should give it a go. I think it only works on iOS, but he might have put some videos and stuff online that you can watch about that app if you haven't got an iPhone. But he could quite easily port that to Android if he wants to when he's ready to. Another app that's been built by somebody in the community is this Fido, which is a Tesla owner called Vince. He's built this really, really slick app that looks very, very good and works really, really well to connect to his Tesla Fi. I don't know what that is. I don't know if any of you know what that is, but there it is. It's cool, it looks great, and apparently it works really well too. And then finally, this is an app by somebody in the African community, a young guy called Tendai in Zimbabwe, and he's built this budget tracker app for Android, and he's released that on the store. That's what this is. So you can go and get that today. And then finally, just another quote from other people that are building things, talking about how quickly they can move with this technology. They can go a lot faster than they've been able to do anything else that they've been doing before. which is really incredible. And we're excited to bring that to more and more people as we keep on rolling out new features. So this is all getting better and faster, and people are loving it. Great. So enough talk. Let me dive into now some examples, because you want to see how this works, right? You don't just want to talk about how good it is, you want to build stuff with it. So let's build. Starting off, you would do a typical, if you're used to Composer, which I hope you are, you would just do a typical Composer require native PHP mobile. After you've done a little bit of setup, all of that's in the documentation on the website. So nice simple step. We won't run that today, but once that's done, then you can install the native PHP package. This only works in Laravel applications at the moment, but this is a PHP tool. We're going to make it work for everything soon enough. But at the moment, in a Laravel application, you can run PHP artisan native install, and that will install everything you need to build Android and iOS applications with Laravel. So inside the Laravel application that you're going to run on the device. Once that's done, then you can just run. So PHP artisan native run. In this case, I've already done this. We're not going to do it right now, but native run iOS, and then maybe we add the watch flag so that we can hot reload. I'll show you that now. So we've got that running. It's here. This is our application. This is our kitchen sink application, which is a demonstration of all of the features that we've got available in native PHP right now. And this is available. This is on the Google Play Store. It's on TestFlight on iOS. So if you've got either of those devices, you can go and get a version of this application and run it on your device. You can also download the code. So you can get this code that we're going to look at today, and you can install the application from your machine onto an emulator or onto a real device. That's pretty cool. That's all open source and ready to go. Before we go into writing any code, I want to show you just a few features that we've got available here. So, some of the cool things. I can't demonstrate push notifications because they don't work on a simulator, but push notifications, something that pretty much everybody wants. Then we've got camera access, vibration, secure storage, that's very important. Lots of nice little UI flourishes like share sheets, alerts, all of the native UI elements there that you can use, not HTML components or little overlays in the web view. These are native components that show up. But I want to focus on two that I think are very, very cool. One is biometrics. So here you might secure a portion of your application or the whole application behind a biometric authentication check. So it might be a kind of touch ID, some sort of fingerprint scanner on the device, or a face ID, or even just a PIN number request, just to make sure that the user has authorized the access to this portion of your application. Now in this, I've set up Face ID, so it's enrolled. That means when I press this button, the simulator is going to give me a Face ID challenge, but it's going to hang because it's going to wait for me to tell the simulator that Face ID is either matched or not matched. So let's do a not match first. Okay, that's pretty standard flow. Let's start that again. This time we'll do a match. You see that UI updated almost immediately. Once the authentication had happened, we push an event back into the Laravel application. This is a Livewire application, which if you've not used Livewire, don't worry. But the fundamentals are a JavaScript event is fired in this web view, which we can then pick up on the backend application. And we can update the view in real time without hitting a server, without going over the network. This is all happening on this device. It's really incredible. And it feels native because of how quick it is. Okay, that's biometrics, which I think is very cool. And the other one that I want to show you is location. So I've got a location already set up on here, but you would have to check for permissions, and that would give you a prompt. And then you request permissions, which would get you a trigger, basically, for getting the location system kind of wired up. And then we get the location. And I've got a dummy location in here, but just to show you, that wasn't very good, was it? Just to show you what would happen if it was a real location, let's go and get the location of where all of you are right now. So that's in this hotel, I believe. And we'll grab those details and just jump back to where we were. Oop. And we'll set the location. So this is a bit fake because, we're not really in that location. But just to prove that when we do this, it will exercise the APIs of the device. And now we've got that location. So that's very cool. It means that you can use some parts of the location system to build rich interfaces around mapping and addresses and that kind of stuff, which is very cool. And so, yeah, the sky is kind of the limit in the things that we can do here. And you might be wondering how all of this works. And honestly, I don't know if we're going to have time to go through all of that, but if we do have a moment, then I'll talk about it. But what I want to show you now is also some really cool stuff around how we can build with native PHP in a way that makes it so easy to use. You've already seen how easy it is to get set up and running. And it only takes a few minutes. If you've already got Android Studio, say on your Windows machine, to get up and running in an emulator or on a real device, it will only take you a few minutes. If you haven't got any of that stuff, it'll take just a little bit longer. And we've got all of the documentation on the website to help you through that. But once you're set up and once you're running, you can start building and building rapidly. And this is just how rapidly. Here, I've set up a component that's not in the navigation yet. And I'm going to add a link to that component just so that we can see that come in. So I'm going to uncomment that line and we're going to save this. And hopefully it's going to work and not crash. Right, so we've got our PHPConnect 2025 button that we didn't have before. So I'm going to go to that page. Oh, that's not good. I know why that is. Let's just save that. And maybe it won't refresh because I need to make a change. Yeah, that's fine. Good. So that's hot reloading working and trying to catch me off guard and throw me off. But just to show you, even though that's a good enough demonstration on its own, how easy it is then. Here, I'm just in a normal blade view in Laravel, and I'm just going to make a change. Don't fall asleep just yet. Great things are coming at the end. And all I'm doing is hitting Command S to save that file, and it's refreshed. I haven't had to close the simulator, rebuild my application, and redeploy it to the simulator. I can just keep on developing the way that I'm used to, like I'm developing for the web. And that's amazing. So it's super easy and super fast to keep on building the way that you're used to building. And you can use anything here. I'm using Livewire for this application, but it could very well be a React front end, a Vue front end, could be Angular or Svelte or jQuery, whatever you want. This is a web view right now, and so you can use everything that's available to you from the web technologies that you know and build a native application. And we use PHP as just an orchestration layer to link the typical web requests that you would be used to and that you know, and make it do things on the device. So this is really, really cool. Now, I do have a few minutes, so we're going to talk a little bit about how some of this works, because I think that's really interesting. And maybe you're curious about it. So, what's going on here? In PHP, well, you might know, maybe you don't know, but PHP is built in C. And that means it can be compiled pretty much for any platform. We figured out how to compile it for iOS and for Android. And what we've done is make it work so that when you call a certain function, functions that we create and make available to you through the native PHP library, it will call native functions under the hood. So it goes and it takes your function call to native PHP and it passes it over to Swift or Kotlin under the hood. And then that code runs and does the native thing, and then it returns back and your application continues. So this is a very, very simple, in the end, it feels very simple. But under the hood, there's a lot of complexity going on to make sure all of that works and works really smoothly. And what you end up with is a really fast and slick application that feels native and works with native features without any of the overhead of managing lots and lots of dependencies and lots of NPM packages, which maybe you're used to, but if I can avoid it, I like to avoid it. Okay, that's enough demo and me talking about how it works for now. I'm sure you've got loads of questions about it, and I'm open to coming and speak to me. Obviously, I'm not there physically, but you can message me on Twitter. You can come and join the Discord, and we can talk about how it works. And if you follow us on YouTube, you'll see over the next few weeks and months, we're going to be doing a lot of material about native PHP, how to build with it, how it works, and a lot more. So keep your eye open for all of that. Let's go back. That was very cool, right? But yes, sorry, you can get the Kitchen Sink mobile app from here if you want to have a play around with its source code. So please go and check that out, give it a star. But why do you want to build native apps in the first place? Right. If you're a PHP developer and you've never done this before, shouldn't you just leave it to somebody else who knows those technologies like React Native or Flutter or Swift or Kotlin? I don't think you should. We believe PHP is more than capable of doing this kind of thing. And that's why we've built this tool. We're really, really excited to keep pushing the boundaries of what PHP is capable of forward. And we're excited to bring it to more and more people all of the time. The market for mobile applications is already really huge, really huge. And it's going to get even bigger over the next 10 years. By some estimates, nearly 3 times bigger. Now, that is immense. What does that mean for you, though? Well, it means if you can build mobile applications, you can tap into that market. You can take a slice of that pie. You can get some of that money, if that's what you want. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to build projects as mobile applications for fun or for friends. That's also good. But this is a huge opportunity. And the PHP developers, us as PHP developers, have been cut out of this for a very long time because our language hasn't been capable of doing this. And we've had to go and learn other things. But now with native PHP, overnight, not even overnight, later today, you can be a mobile app developer. How cool is that? Mobile developers generally earn a lot more money. Some would say it's because the technologies are harder to use. I don't think it's that. You can learn anything these days, and I'm sure many of you already know things like Swift and Kotlin. But if you can use PHP which is even easier to use, which means you can go faster, which means that you don't have to hire loads more people in your team to cover all these extra skill sets. Wouldn't that translate to more money in your pocket? I'll let you think about that. You can get native PHP for mobile today from nativephp.com/mobile. It is a paid package. That's because we're trying to build an ecosystem where we can support all of the work that we're doing and keep on supporting it for the long term. Other people have tried to build open source versions of this in the past. They've tried, they've got so far, and then they've fallen over. They've stopped and they've failed. And we think that's because the community doesn't have enough drive to get behind it. So we're trying to build that drive ourselves by building a business around this idea. And so native PHP for mobile isn't open source just yet. We do plan to make it open source as soon as we possibly can. In fact, in the very near future. But I have a very sneaky surprise that I hope you'll all enjoy. If you've been excited by the things that I've shown you today, we're doing something for the African community, for PHPConnect specifically, to bring you native PHP for mobile, the full cream milk version of native PHP for mobile, absolutely free today. No waiting for the open source version. We're giving away 1,000 licenses to PHPConnect. That hopefully means everybody here can go and get a license and start playing with native PHP straight away. That means you haven't got to go and find the money to go and buy a license. That means you can start building right away. And what's more, it's not just a basic license that lets you build one application or just try it out. This is the full, what we call our max license. This is giving you the capacity to build unlimited applications and keep on going and building forever. This is not going to be like a 1 year free and then next year you pay. No. This is free forever for you. How do you get it? At the link that I sent to you before, nativephp.com/mobile, purchase a max license. Go for the max one. Yes, it looks like it's going to cost $1,000. But when you type this code, PHPConnect25, into the checkout, it will bring that price right down to zero. And once you complete the checkout, you'll get your license key, and then you'll be on your way. All you need to do next is read the documentation. That's it. That's native PHP. We're trying to help everybody build mobile applications. Please follow along. We've got a long way to go. We've got a lot of stuff that we want to do. And we're really excited to keep on bringing more and more of this technology to the entire global PHP community. So we'd love to have you join us. Thank you to everybody who's supported us in doing this so far. Thank you to all of you who are in attendance and have been listening carefully. And thanks to the organizers for putting this event together and letting me come and speak. And one of my favorite things, I always have to give it some thanks, is pizza. And yeah, that's it.